What are mans? It's Taco Mans, and today I'm going to show you how I pitch my REI Flash Air 2 backpacking tent and give my review afterwards. Let's talk about it. Written on the stuff sack, it shows this is a 2-person tent, 88-inch length, 52-inch width, tapering down to 42 inches and 42 inches high. 1 pound, 15 ounces, not including the poles. They write this because you can substitute your own trekking poles to save weight. So here are the poles, stakes, and guy lines included. There's no footprint included, but I am using a sheet of Tyvek, which is a construction material known for being lightweight, water resistant, and very durable. So I laid out my footprint and put the tent on top. This tent is all one piece, as opposed to a freestanding tent that uses a rainfly and inner mesh. This combines both into one. I started by grabbing the guy line under the rainfly portion and staked it out. This is considered a non-freestanding tent that will need to be pegged down in order to stand up properly. I continued by staking out the remaining corners, adding tension when I staked out the final 2 corners. Then I assembled the 2 main roof poles that create the height of the tent. These poles are inserted into an adapter. You can see the adapter has 2 sets of holes. The bigger hole can be used to insert your trekking poles, so you could leave these poles at home. The silver pole is called the foot pole, which I'll get to later. I inserted the first pole into the roof of the tent. There's a sleeve attached to the mesh portion with a small clip to keep it in place. Then I inserted the bottom portion into a grommet. At this point, when I stake out this vestibule, you can see the tent begin to take its shape. I did the same thing on the other side by pulling the rainfly portion back, inserting the pole into the sleeve, connecting it to the grommet, and attaching the clip. I pulled the rainfly portion back over and staked down the vestibule. Now for the foot pole, there's a tiny insert at the foot of the tent. Then I inserted the bottom of the pole into a grommet. I took the guy lines attached to the rainfly and simply pulled it over the existing stake already in the ground. I pulled the tensioner and moved on to the next corner. The foot pole is a bit slanted, but that will even out once I tension the head of the tent. You can see the wall taking shape when I guy out the rainfly, creating vertical space inside. I tensioned all the corners to make everything nice and taut. There's a couple of vents by the roof, and I also opened up the vestibules for extra airflow while I prepare to put my gear inside. You can see the vestibules can unzip all the way up to maximize airflow or even stargaze on a clear night, but it was raining, so I left it as it was. And just like that, the tent setup is complete. Let's get to my review. I'll start by saying I love this tent. It's a 2-person tent, but I use it as a solo tent. At about 2 pounds, I find it's a great summer tent for backpacking and bikepacking. As for the setup process, I think it's pretty easy, however it helps to be on good grass and soil where you can actually use the stakes. A beginner camper may find it a bit challenging compared to a freestanding tent. I went through a few freestanding tents myself before getting this one, and I think there's a time and place for each kind. For example, if you know you're camping in rocky areas, I would consider a freestanding tent where you only have to worry about guying out the vestibules. I've also read some reviews that condensation can be an issue. Based on my experience, it's true. I wasn't surprised as condensation's inevitable for single wall tents. I feel like the ventilation is really good considering both sidewalls are completely mesh and the vestibules are high off the ground. However, it's not enough to keep away condensation, and there are times where the inside of the roof was a bit wet. But it was never enough to drip or wet my sleeping bag. In terms of waterproofing, I've slept in this tent in multiple rainstorms, including last night, and woke up completely dry. Moving on to the interior, you can see how spacious the inside is for 1 person. I can sit upright and have plenty of space by my feet and head when laying down. My sleeping pad is off to the side to show that 2 people can fit, but I've never done it and I think it would be a bit snug. Looking at the head of the tent, we can see plenty of vestibule space for shoes, packs, and other gear. Very simple yet spacious design, and I love the open concept with how much mesh is being used. On each side of the tent, there is a decent sized door that can zip all the way up to the top. You can roll it up and leave it open. There's a small pocket for your belongings, and a gear loop at the top near the vents. So there's a total of 2 doors, 2 pockets, and 2 gear loops. Overall, I think this is a great tent. I've had it for a little over a year, and it's been my go-to tent lately. I love how spacious, breathable, and lightweight it is. I especially like how unique the design is and will continue to use it for future trips. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and let me know. What's your go-to backpacking tent? Please like, share, subscribe, and vibe. Catch you on the next Taco Man's out. Peace.